Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. You know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. On-chain revolution. Youngest. Phone.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto for you guys today. We're live from the On-Chain Hour, and this one is going to be good. I guess. I don't know, guys. At this point, we got Bitcoin sitting at 89,000. Let's talk about this for a second. So yesterday, we're sitting around 92,000. The day before, we're about 94,000. I had predicted that Bitcoin was at 96, come back down to 92. And kind of dump after the meeting there. But the meeting was not what I expected. The meeting was actually very dovish. Jerome Powell did not try to use his words to push markets down. He actually was very honest about everything, right? The questions were good. Everything was good. After the meeting, I looked at Yagobi and I said, you know, what's going on? Like, why isn't prices running right now? And I still don't know why. Right. The one thing I looked at this morning was a lot of stock guys were saying that people do not want to take positions right now because a lot of people made a lot of money on Bitcoin and stocks. They don't want to take new positions right now. So they're not getting into Bitcoin and stuff like that until after the holidays. So that tells me there's no Santa Claus rally. That tells me that good news, price go down, bad news, price go down, and then everything else is sideways. We're going to be in a sideways market with just downward momentum until January. And that sucks to say out loud. That sucks to I felt that in my heart when I said it. I said, no. I was like, no, I just want some opportunity, guys. I want some opportunity to make some money. I want some opportunity to find new projects. I want opportunity to create great content with good news, right? I mean, you can't always come in here every single day and do a show like we do and just be bearish. It sucks. It's not fun. It's terrible. You know, we have some stuff today. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not the best, right? So let's just dive in and kind of see what's going down. We got Ethereum down 4%. You do have Bitcoin down 2%, Tau down 0.9, Solana down 3%, and of course Merlin's up today, right? Like Merlin just does its own thing. Agent Hustle is down 16%. XRP is down 2%. Hype down 5%. Monad down 2%. Aster 2%. I mean, it's right at my board, right? There is one thing though. The DXY is back down to the low 98s. So this is really, really good. As you guys know, we can talk about this when Yagobi pops up, but I need a DXY to hit 96. DXY is a basket of goods that represent the dollar. We need the dollar to drop in value. What that's going to do is that's going to really kind of ramp things up, but no one's talking about this right now. No one's talking about the fact that the DXY might go into the 97 range today. I mean, it's getting its butt kicked right now, down about 0.4. You got to remember, 0.4 is trillions of dollars for the DXY. It's a lot of money. We need that to drop. You know, you do have Bitcoin dominance up a tiny bit. Dow Jones is the only one out of the S&P and the NASDAQ that is green on the day. They're green by a lot. The Dow Jones is up by 1%. Gold up a little bit, but yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird to me. I don't even know how to feel about this right now. And then I put a post out, and someone came in and they put underneath, hey man, this stuff takes time. You got to have patience for when monetary policy changes, right? But we're in a rate cutting cycle. We end at quantitative tightening, and we're about to buy bonds. The Fed is going to be going into the market to buy bonds. I don't see anything that could possibly be better than this. I don't know. Maybe Yagobi can help me. So without further ado, let's bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's going on, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling like the rate cut didn't really matter too much, and I feel like I guess it was a little bit baked in late. It was a confusing one, wasn't it? Because a lot of people were kind of like, "Are we gonna get it? Are we not?" It was heavily swinging towards not getting it. Then late switched very, very strongly to the side of getting it, and so I feel like it was just kind of like you mentioned, right? People, it's at the end of the year. They don't want to make any like impulsive trades or get into any positions or anything like that, and so we're gonna carry through this month. I still am holding on to the hope, the Christmas miracle type hope of getting some sort of rally. And feel like there's liquidity injected somehow, some way. I don't know. I just I don't like to be the half glass empty type of person, but I know sometimes it's just facts, right? It's facts of the environment, the sentiment, and we got to look at that as well. But I'm holding on to hope. We got like what, about like 19 days, so a little less than 20 days left of this month, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, is there any hope left? I don't
I mean,
I don't know, dude.
like I feel like if we don't have that mentality, first of all, I know you have that mentality too, because if
yeah.
we wouldn't be doing the show, because this year definitely took some, hope out of the winds, but like you got to keep going, you got to keep pushing forward. And I do believe that, if you're persistent and you really and you just keep trying at it, and you have that, that intuition and that conviction that good things will come around. But maybe
100%. 100%. I'm gonna dive into something really quickly. It's one of my favorite things to look at, which is the DXY chart, and kind of get your opinion on this. So, obviously, if anyone doesn't know, if you're new to watching the show or whatever, I have a thesis, I guess you would say, about every single time we've seen a Bitcoin bull market, we've seen the DXY completely die. Right. And when I say completely die, I mean drop below 96. 96 is pretty bad. It's, imagine if USDT was at 96 cents instead of $1, right? You would say, hey, it lost its peg, right? So
yeah, that'd be dangerous.
Yeah, very. So let me actually go into the weekly. I always forget which chart is the best to see this. Yeah, it's the weekly. So as you can see here, we'll go to July of 2017. We saw the DXY drop from under that 96 all the way down. It took about 5 months to get the bottom in February 2018, but we also seen this was actually the top for crypto, right? And then over here, same thing, right? Back in August of 2020, you've seen the DXY drop below. And, in April of 2021, you saw the first top of crypto, say that what should have been the official top, but it got manipulated back up by Sam Bankman-Fried and them. But then you see, going into September, July, September here, you saw the complete bottom for the DXY, and then it kind of went back up. Right now, we kind of need that to happen. And as you can see, it does look like it could possibly be something similar to here, right? Pop up and then drop down, potentially one more pop up. And it is another lower high, which is a really good sign. But we need the DXY to drop below this number. And, I do think that's why I'm kind of saying that, April, May is kind of my top. And I do think, potentially we can get down to like 90. On the DXY when we have a new Fed chairman and people don't know what to think when it comes to the dollar. People start getting out the dollar and they start buying Bitcoin. I do think April, May 26 could be the top, and this is kind of why I think that on just looking at this data here. And if this does happen, though, I mean, when does this alt season start? If May is the top.
Ooh. Goodness. If May for Bitcoin.
Yeah, like,
Then
because
yeah,
let's go here. July 2020, a lot of people can say, hey, that was the start of the bull market, right? That's kind of when you saw BNB start moving. You saw Bitcoin go from 8 to 13 by the end of the year, right? So,
it was a weird time too, though, because you got to remember, like the governments of the world were
yeah,
also trying to supplement big time
yeah,
with what was coming and all these things. So, but at the end of the day, like if you go, the one thing that doesn't change, whether COVID was last cycle or 2017 wasn't, it was normal. That the thing that didn't change was the trajectory of the Dixie, right? So
yeah.
that's the thing is that like yeah, so if it started to go and hit that, and what are you predicting that time frame where it actually crosses that yellow line? What do you think about that? Like, do you think
So,
we go ahead?
yeah. So if April is, let's just say May's the top, right? And if back here, let's go to, I think this is closer to 2017, and February was the top, right? So that means July was 7 months, right? So 5, 6, 7 months. So
But
if
don't
May is
forget,
the
you're
top,
building up though to that.
yeah,
You know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying?
So I think we have to cross this line minimum now. I mean,
Right? Or towards the end of this month, right? And
yeah,
and leading into the early parts. So that's a good positive sign, right? So it's kind of like,
yeah,
and people only remember the very, very parabolic time period of that situation, these situations, these alt
they
seasons.
remember
But you have
here.
to remember, like there's very strong buildups to price action to alts as you get there, and then you have the blow off top type situation, right? So I think that could really play for our industry. Because that's something that we haven't seen anything like that this year, even but to see that like the Dixie getting closer to that yellow line, I think we would also need to start seeing like Ethereum starting to get a little bit aggressive, XRP, some
Yeah.
of the other blue chips, and also, and then that will give us some almost like I guess a build to the conviction that that's where we're headed.
I could be wrong though, and let's just say, November, maybe the top, right? Let's just say we take this right here to October, November. Let's just say November, December is the top, right? And that gives us time to kind of hit this line in potentially, February, March, and April, and then the top being in November, right around election time.
I mean, that could be a situation as well, right? I mean, if you look at that calendar or the timeline of the years on the bottom, I mean, it could align with that, right? I think, nevertheless, like if we get to that yellow line, we're golden, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean, we just need to cross below it, right? So that can kind of give us some idea, at least, like, if the markets are going to get lively again. As of right
yeah,
now, it sucks because like we just had the FOMC meeting yesterday. We got mostly what we wanted: tone, kind of the comments, answers to
yeah,
questions. The only thing that he kind of dodged around a little bit was officially changing monetary policy, but that's a big deal, so you can't really just throw words around with that, right? So he's just saying, like, when that official move comes, you guys will know, and it will be, we're going to go from meeting to meeting to make that. But he did say basically they're back in the market, right? And so for that, like, we got everything we wanted. Then we see Bitcoin kind of do the crazy volatility that we saw yesterday, get to 94, and then only to pull back like late in the day, early in the
yeah,
morning. Now we're sitting at 89. But like I do think that person's comment makes sense. You have to realize that like a shift
yeah.
in kind of how they're acting is going to take time to change, like, psychologically, of the market's like approach, right? And so maybe it takes 2 weeks, maybe it takes a month, but we'll get there. I'm pretty confident with that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's just jump right into the topic. Fed turns dovish rate cut signals a major shift. What happens in crypto in 2025 and 2026, right? So basically 2025 is over. So let's kind of think about 2026. So let's jump into what everyone kind of thinks is kind of happening with next cut, right? We're seeing an 18% chance of a cut, 82% chance of no change. This was a lot higher this morning because we did get some jobs numbers that came in here. So for the week ending in December 6th, the U.S. Initial jobless claims were 236, above expected 220. So we are seeing more jobless claims. This is people filing for unemployment checks in the first week of December here. So that's not great. For it's good for potential another rate cut though. So that's kind of why you're seeing this go from 12 to 18 today, and this drop from 86 to down to 82. Completely everything left the 50 basis points, and some of them left the 25 basis points. So we are potentially seeing a no change here, but we have a lot of data from now to this next meeting, and the next meeting is set for the end of January, right? There is no meeting in February. So we go from January 28th to March 18th. So we have, about 45 days to this next meeting. A lot can change, but I'm hoping to stay in this rate cutting cycle, which means we get another cut.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look back at Q4, we got 3 out of the 4 possibilities, right?
Yeah.
With ending the year with 1. I'm not so sure we should be so confident that we're going to get one in January, but does it matter as much? Do you feel like, if they are being more aggressive by, purchasing in the market, and they seem to be shifting more towards QE anyways, maybe not having a rate cut in January doesn't matter as much? I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some sort of break in between, maybe they don't do it in January and then they pick back up in February or March.
Yeah, well, I seen some economists talking about they want to see rates at 3.25. Right now, we're at about 3.75. A lot of economists think that companies like to take out loans around 3.25 or around 3, or even obviously even cheaper than that. But the economist was like, hey, you might see a lot of loans being taken out around 3.25. And why is that important? That's important mainly because once a company takes out a loan, a lot of times they put that money back into their company to do things like add a new part of the building, hire new employees, build a new sector. So you basically when you add a new sector to your company, a lot of times too you have to renovate, which you hire builders, and then you have to hire new people, right? So you have to new area where they can make money in their building. Sometimes they can do it additions to the building, or they'll buy a new building, right? So that creates jobs. And if a couple of them doing it doesn't really make changes, but thousands of companies doing this makes huge changes when it comes to the workforce.
And not just that, I mean, they're paying the contractors, and then the contractors are paying their workers, and then the workers have more money in their pockets. And so at the end of the day, it just trickles down, right? But I think we're at 3.5% now after this
3.75.
Really? After the 0.25% cut? That's weird, because I could have sworn I searched yesterday and it said that. But so then, about 2 rate cuts away, unless they do a big one, of getting kind of close to that area, right? So
yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost pretty positive. That's all right. I had the stock guys were talking about this morning. But yeah, why wait to get this answer?
Yeah, I don't know what I was searching it up for something yesterday, and I could have sworn it said we were going.
Yeah, we're at 3.75
right now after the cut.
Yeah,
okay.
After the cut. Yeah, officially. So that's what I'm saying. If we can get 2 more, that kind of puts us into the economist range of really opening up. And a lot of the stuff, a lot of builders like building during the spring, right? Or a lot of people, they suggest you build during the spring because it's good for the weather. You can get things done. You're not going to have rainy days where you can't work that day and stuff like that. So they usually like to do it during April and May and June for sure. So before it gets too hot. So what happens to crypto next, right? If we don't get a rate cut in January, I don't know. I don't know if it even matters anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think also what happens to crypto for the rest of this year, and then, early next year, right? With where we are right now. So it seems like he's dovish. It seems like he did state that they are being a little bit more aggressive with, getting assets in the market to have reserves. We talked about the Dixie, and I think that kind of all plays together here. What are you anticipating for the rest of this year? and early next year? I'm curious. I mean, I kind of already know the rest of this year. I feel like you feel like it's gonna be stagnant and sideways.
Yeah, I think we get back into the high 80s. I mean, where we already are, but we stay in the high 80s. Potentially go down to 86, back up to 92 for the rest of the year. I think it's just complete chop fest until I want to say January 6th is potentially when we can see some upward momentum. You got to remember, Donald, he hates that day, January 6th. So I do think potentially he's going to come out and just pump markets going into that. So I don't know, man. I don't even know what to expect anymore. Honestly, it's one of those things where I just don't see a Santa Claus rally now officially.
Yeah, I'm still not giving up hope, but yeah, I get where you're coming from. And then for the early 2026, you are expecting that's whenever things get spicier, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the way I really hope
if not, then it's I think we're all in a bad situation. We're all going to be playing Arc Raiders all day.
100%, or just maybe go into the world like that, honestly. But Blazing Bandit said, "What's up, my guys? Appreciate you. Are we ready? QT start? Technically, it started. I mean, the definition of QT is the Fed going into the market and buying bonds. And yesterday they announced that the QE, thank you. For the next 40 days, we're going to be putting about $40 billion into the market. The Fed is going to be buying $40 billion worth of bonds. We've already seen them do 40 billion, right? They did some in June, and then over the last 3 weeks, we've seen them already do about 20 billion there. So we've already seen about overall about 40 billion. So they're going to be putting another 40 billion into the market. So we will see. WebJero is here, my guy. Appreciate you. Blazing Man says, "They don't hear. Subscribe." Thank you, sir. He says, with you, my dude was wondering the same thing. He says, "That's BS. Believe in the Santa rally. Come on." He says, "Got your back, my dude. I'm always bullish. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. It's all bulls, 100%. We got the Cheaty is here. Shout out to Cheaty, my guy. Blazing Bandit says, "Just looking at my wallet keeps me a bull." Yeah, because your wallet has some misprints in it, bro. Stan is here. Stan says, "I guess Tom, Richard, and Jeff were right about 2026 bull run." I mean, they're some of the smartest people that I know, right? So Jake still thinks, we talked to him yesterday. We have a meeting with him.
Santa rally.
Jake still says Santa rally.
Yeah,
Jeff's opinion on that.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like Jake's perspective on it is Santa swoops in at the last minute. Yeah, because he's basically saying right around Christmas time. So,
which it's the same day that a lot of his migrations take place, right? So 100%.
True.
Myself says not QE, but reserve management purchase. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah. But I get what he's saying. Basically, the official, where it's on documents and stuff like that.
You got to remember, in 2021 December, they technically started quantitative tightening, but they didn't make it official until June, right? So it's same thing here. We might have, they started in December. Oh wow, they stopped it in December and maybe officially in June. Who knows, right? So. The exact opposite. Blazing Bandit says, "Yo, there's always hope." Yep, there's always hope. Webster says, "We glass half full. We know the money printer will pump our assets eventually. Just might take longer." Dude, how much longer? How much longer? It's been 18 months, bro. It really feels like that. Webster, I agree. Blazing Bandit says, "That sounds more likely considering all the delays already." Stan says, "When UBI kicks in." Stan loves UBI, bro. He is he must have a job he hates, because he's will job numbers matter? No. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Good question. What do you think?
I think it's going to be more, there's going to be some sort of metric just to, check and see the welfare of the society, right? Well, if it's not jobs, because at that point, right, everybody's going to be looking at asset accumulation and who has how much assets do you have compared to this and that and the other. And so
it'll be
it's gonna be. I just feel like we're so far away from that type of world, but I do think eventually comes, because if you believe in AI and you believe in AGI and you believe in quantum and all that stuff, it's inevitable. But I think we're at least minimum 50 years away from something like that.
No, 10. Minimum.
UBI?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, I think I would say 3, 4. I just told you the other day, Verizon let go 30,000 supervisors, right?
I mean, they did
That's
let go,
30,000
a
people,
lot of
right?
people. Yeah.
30,000 people across the United States. So that's one company. What happens if we see a mass of let's just say we see 100,000 supervisors let go next year and 1 million supervisors the following year, because you don't need supervision anymore because AI can do that, right?
Yeah,
So it's like
but society
salesmen,
as a whole in the
supervision.
system has to be able to produce so much for everybody that like there's no work needed. You know what I'm saying? So like everybody has to. I would have to be able to like get whatever I wanted,
Yeah. Well, that
easily
comes with
without putting a lot of money into it.
there's a thing called automation tax that's coming, and a lot of people don't talk about it. Automation tax is if your company is being ran by any type of automatic thing, whether that's AI or robotics, then you have to pay an automation tax, right? So that's the thing that people are saying, that small use people, while the larger companies can pay that automation tax. So what's going to happen is the automation tax is what's going to pay for the UBI. So that's where that money's going to come from. Right. So I can't see Trump's administration doing that. So it'll definitely happen in the next administration. But automation tax is coming, and that's what will pay for the UBI. So, and like Elon Musk even said it. He said working will be optional. You can choose to stay home, or you can choose to have a paycheck, but that'll be completely up to you. So I mean, honestly, dude, 2-3 years before we see the first amount of people. And I'm saying that because, like, you're going to see a lot devs, like developers, are going to be gone. I mean, you're already kind of seeing like something like Caffeine AI.
Yeah, I mean, like I think you will still have that, those kind of human managers of AI. Like you'll need some like points of that. But that still cuts out a lot of the human workforce for sure. Stan says cashiers have been cooked for a while. UBI. I
Yeah.
mean, when I go to the grocery store, like I always go to the self checkout all the time.
So I've noticed self checkout has a bigger line than the cashiers.
Yeah, that's happened and started to expedite for sure. And that was before AI was huge. That was actually before AI was big.
It was. I personally don't like tagging and bagging. So I'll find the cashier. I want to be on my phone during that process. I already spent 40 minutes in the store running around like a crazy person trying to find shit. I want to be on my phone and look at crypto prices while they're tagging and bagging my shit. I don't know. I don't like tagging and bagging. I feel like I work there.
You're gonna have to be doing it soon.
I know. Eventually, I agree.
Yeah. When I was at F1 too, the F1 in Austin, the concessions, it was crazy. Like there would just be one manager and all these people buying sodas and all these things, and you just put it on this like area, and there's a scanner and it scans everything, and it says, okay, your total is like $13.50. I was like, yeah, it's right, and it was so efficient and quick.
Yeah. Remember the Amazon stores? They went away. Amazon Fresh. You could walk.
Well, because they were lying. They were lying.
I know.
Bro.
It was
It was third world countries in the background that was acting like the automation.
Stan says that's okay. Misprint, keep my head up and bullish. I'm okay with that. Even if those disappear, I mean, big things are happening. He says in motion, cashiers. Yep. And then the recurring stimmy checks are basically, I mean, that's what UBI will be. It would just be a monthly or twice a month check of $1,500 or something like that. It won't be enough to live comfortably. So the people that will continually be working, they will be making more than the people in the UBI. So that's one thing that's going to be thing too. You're going to have to beat, if you're a company or you want to hire somebody, you have to beat UBI, which could send upward momentum on pay scale. So
but society also, last thing real quick, society will also, you have to handle that well, because like people can get very comfortable very quickly. So the people that already own homes and stuff, you're ahead, because if you're coming up and you're just like, oh, I get UBI, and I'm fine living in my UBI covered, housing or whatever it is. So it's gonna be interesting thinking about that. So
yeah. I mean, eventually you own nothing and be happy. So you're gonna have to.
Not me. I gotta own at least one thing. I'm just kidding.
All right, jump into some stuff here. So Tether has launched QVAC Health, a new privacy-first wellness platform that unifies wearable and health data into a single encrypted offline capable dashboard powered by on-device AI. So they've gone into the AI sector, but Tether now is building companies outside of crypto. Obviously, they're going to use crypto rails. They're going to use AI for this. But I thought it was really awesome to see Tether now. I think Tether's going to be the largest company in the world, and it's not just going to be in crypto. It's going to be in everything because they have the money to do things like this. But they want to take your health records and put them on chain. That's what this is all about. But private, like with privacy first stuff involved, right? To where I can't go see what's wrong with Yagobi. Yagobi can't go see what's wrong with his neighbor. Nothing like that. They want it so that when it's on the blockchain, but it's actually encoded and encrypted.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be solving a pain point for the the healthcare industry too, because sometimes hospitals or companies will get sued because of HIPAA violations, right?
Yeah.
And lawyers look out for that stuff because they want to make money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if you have oh, I fallen and broke my neck, type situation, but like with HIPAA, it's because someone left your information somewhere, and it was exposed to multiple
Yeah.
people, right? So with this, they might have some sort of system to where they're like, hey, look, immediately everything from the system goes directly to the blockchain, so it's safe forever. So the people that need to access it can, with security credentials,
Yeah.
then everything else is destroyed. So we don't ever have a chance of being sued again or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting that we're starting to see this, because I didn't really see this being kind of one of the first things. I knew it was going to be a priority, records and stuff like that. But yeah, it's and Tether, dude, how many cookie jars do they got? Right, like their hands are just everywhere. It's just like money magnets.
Yeah, they just have so much of it, right? Because it's all backing. They need to figure out ways to just do stuff with it. They're definitely. Do you think this will have anything to do with their chain, Plasma Chain? Do you think they're going to be using Plasma Chain to do this, or do you think it's going to just be something completely different?
I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if it was something completely
Yeah.
different, because they're good at being, versatile and just having multiple streams, right?
Yeah.
That's their deal. So
Yeah, Ryan says, I've been on disability and struggling for 11 years now. It will not pay for my next Cadillac, so that's why I'm here. Stay learning and securing. But yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
100%. That's exactly what UBI is going to be. Basically the same thing. Speaking of privacy, Vitalik Buterin said that the centralized open source encrypted document tool Fileverse has spent recent months fixing bugs and is now stable enough to secure document sharing. People need Fileverse when they want Google Docs level collaboration, but with real privacy, wallet-based access, and no dependence on one company or big network. It looks like the Ethereum Foundation is the people who cooked this up. How do you it will run potentially on blockchain, but it will be fully encrypted. It's pretty much the same thing as what Tether's created, but this is mainly for decentralizing Google Docs. We use Google Docs here, but he wants to do one to where if he sends it to a coworker, there's no middleman being able to see his documents.
This is another process. I feel like that is kind of like the integration of the technology that we have on our side, which is cool because like the past two headlines are that, right? Like there's so many people on crypto Twitter that's like, crypto hasn't done anything for society except for like make some people millionaires, right? But it's not all the way true. I see the argument though.
Yeah.
I see the argument, right? But now, these type of headlines here can start to show society, hey, look, there's pain points that we can solve and make the world better through it. And I think that these type of stories need to be highlighted more, right? And obviously the products have to follow through and be used, right? And so because it's so much about number go up, I'm going to change my life in a short period of time type of deal. But what other aspects of Web3 are going to be important and stuff like this? It's cool. It's you're changing the way the Google product suites kind of would work in this type of environment. I don't have a problem with it right now, like Google products. So I think that they're still going to have to put some more meat on the bone of like, okay, middleman, sure, but like Google's not leveraging me right now, right? So it's like, where would this, what else can you add to this? And I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people will flock to this in the sense of crypto-minded people who are building stuff or code or stuff like that. Or, to say like if your computer's hacked, they can't get into this either because you have to like maybe you have to do something like that. I don't know. I don't know there. But like to your point though, and you said, people they say crypto is not good for anything. Those same people, or maybe even their parents were in 1999 were probably saying the same thing about the internet. The internet only brings two things. It brings chat rooms and triple X videos, and it does nothing good for society. But you take it 20 years later, and everyone does everything on the internet. You watch your movies on the internet, you talk to your friends on the internet. Like it's just, you know what I mean? It's you pay your bank, you pay your bills on the internet. Everything
Like
is on
seniors are using internet like crazy too.
Yeah.
So it's like once you have like the older group of age class, right, use that technology, it has fully, it's here. It's like a part of life.
100%. All right, let's jump into something more fun here. Aster has dropped all fees on its stock perps, now available to trade at 0% costs. And they launched a $200,000 human versus AI trading battle. Did you see this? It is cool.
I think I heard something about that.
So this is it right here. This is from Cointelegraph where I first saw it, but then here it is: human versus AI. They've given I think 20 or 10 traders $10,000, and they've given 10 AI agents $10,000. And as you can see here, it does look like the humans are winning, but they're only out. Their ROI is 0.7, while the team AI is getting cooked. They're down minus 2%. And you can actually see the trades here. You do have the real people. Oh, these are real traders that they've reached out to who were trading on Aster and given them the 10K in a separate account for them to do this.
Which AI are they going against?
It's 10 different ones. So one's Claude, one's ChatGPT. So it's a group of them all together. And so that's Team AI, and you have Team Human. So it's 10 and 10. And the human champion is going to win $100,000, and the Team Human's going to, 50,000 plus another 50,000. So $200,000 altogether for the prize pool. And we will see. Well, what do you think? How do you think this finishes? This is something I definitely want to like look at like daily because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say humans are winning by quite a bit, but it's not that much, right? So they're almost even, right? The humans, and then the AI's got a 2% downside, right? So I mean, look, hey, impressive, right? For the human side of things, right? It looks like they, if they could sustain this lead, then that'd be cool and amazing. But it will also kind of show that like AI needs some work, probably, because I don't know. I mean, like when you think about AI, there's no feelings involved, right? So it's all just execution based on strategy and
past data.
Yeah, but data, past data, strategy, et cetera, et cetera. Humans, the best humans are good at like taking emotions out, but they still have the option in their back pocket. Okay, I got this gut intuition that like the Fed meeting is going to go this way, and I'm gonna chill on making a move, but I give it about 3 hours after, and then I'm going to kick in like I usually do. That's not like a strategy that, in my opinion, like AI would necessarily do.
Yeah,
right. They would put everything on previous data, a ton of technical analysis, and feeding in like the fundamental analysis is probably going to get better over time. That will help, I think, the AI. But as of right now, kind of pretty cool that the humans are winning.
Yeah, and you can see the total P&L is 37,000. The total P&L here is 2,663, but the team P&L is what matters. So they're up 5K. So there's one guy that's up 37K, and everyone sucks pretty much here. But then you're seeing here there is an AI that is up, but majority altogether is down. So really cool. We're gonna look at this. Competition ends in 12 days. So over the course of the rest of this week and the rest of next week, we're gonna be checking this out, and we'll let you guys know how it works. But you guys can head over to asterdex.com, and you see it's right up top. You can click on it and see it for yourself. You can read the rules and the details and everything, and kind of go through it all. But you are seeing the traders here but it is cool. So I was wrong. It's 70 traders. So they've given 70 traders, and you can see here Grok 4, Claude, Kimmy, Chat GPT-5. So it's they made this one's aggressive. They made this one conservative. So they kind of mixed it up. DeepSeek, Gemini. So it's just a whole bunch.
And then how many human traders though? 100. Okay. So
Yep,
gotcha.
For sure. Shout out to Social Radar, formerly Prompt. Hey guys, cool show. Hey guys, we know you're doing a migration with Jake, man. If you want to come on and talk about it, we would love to. We're partnered with Agent Hustle and Jake and those guys, so we would love to kind of speak to you and learn about your what you have going on.
Yeah, and I remember Prompt actually. They were a project on Believe, and they initially started with the idea of utilizing prompting data, like whatever I prompt or whatever you prompt, and then kind of taking them to the place that they're going to go next from the prompt, but then having some strategic ads on that next page or that search engine thing. So really cool idea. Would be cool to have them on.
100%. Blazing Bandit says, how long is the trading going for? Yeah, it's going for 12 days. 12 days, and it's over. But you can go to aster.dex.com and kind of learn. He said, let me chat with the founders. You should check out our newsletter. Yeah, definitely. We'll check it out for sure. Let's move on here. Bubblemaps reveal PEPE clusters in 2023 at launch. So let's jump over to this. It's something you brought to my attention this morning that I thought was really cool. So Bubblemaps reveals PEPE early wallet clusters in 2023. Looks like about 30%. What do you think about this? What do you think about, even in the early days, bundling? Something that we look at today and say, no. It was actually pretty used. 30%. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, I actually think that this was I don't know what their intention was. I love that we're talking about this because this topic is definitely controversial, right? Bubblemaps is obviously a company that offers this data, the bubble data, the bundled data type of situation here. And I think they were trying to put this out to show that it was manipulated, but then they got so much just pushback because there was people that were like, oh my god, if PEPE was bundled, then I want every token I get into to be as bundled as PEPE, right? But it really makes you think a couple levels deep too, because at the surface level you hear bundled, you think just bad, because for the audience, a bundled token launch means that whenever they launched it, one person launched it, but has, let's say, 30 wallets representing 30 different unique people, but it's really one person. So at any given time you could click sell. The way that this bundle technology works, you could click sell and all 30 wallets can dump at the same time. So that's dangerous, right? Especially if it starts running and you get to the $3-4 million market cap, and all of a sudden this bundle has 40% of the market cap, and that shoots down to I don't know, $1 million from 5. Everybody's like, what the heck just happened, right? So, but what this shows about PEPE is that it really depends on the team's intention behind it. And the hardest thing about that is we don't get to know that, right? We don't get to know who the team is. Everything is still anon in this space. And so, of course, if everybody knew that the intentions were like PEPE's intentions, everybody would get in every coin, right? Yep. But the one thing I will say is my perception has changed on bundled tokens. And the reason why is if you actually trade tokens in the trenches on Pump Fun or, in some of these newer ecosystems that will probably get more volume, Monad and Spark and all these, you'll see that if there's no bundle at all, you think it's clean, you think it's good, you can't get any traction. There's not enough participants, and so you almost have to have a certain percentage of bundling, and you're hoping for the best that the team behind it really wants to get this market cap higher at different levels. Now you're rolling the dice on that, and I think that's why a lot of people right now, the way they trade on Solana, especially because the participation's low and liquidity levels are low, is that they're playing them very short term because of that, right? Because at any given moment, the team can just fire the bundle button and sell a ton. So it's almost become a very strategic game of hot potato. That's what it is. Now, there will be a team that comes in that's very loaded and says, they can invest, 6 figures into a token and expecting millions of dollars in return if the market sentiment is correct. And this is where it all kind of ties together, guys. Like, Shizzy and I have been kind of banging our head on the desk, like, why can't none of these tokens get going? And it's because there's no team that's willing to do that right now. There's no team that's willing to invest, 5-6 figures to get a token going, because they won't see a return on that because of the market conditions. The participation's too low. There's not new participants coming in and adding that. When that time comes, there will be a team that does that, because they will make good money when we're in a high liquidity environment. So hopefully that helps some of you guys that are trying to figure it out as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Was it shocking to you to learn this?
A little
Pepe?
bit, because I think about OG, EVM, Ethereum, and you don't think bundles then. But like if it makes sense though, right? Like, these teams, they're gonna have multiple wallets involved, and the Pepe team crushed it, right? The way they did it was like they crushed it. They made so much money. Their return was absolutely insane. But they also, I feel like, was betting on the market to participate in it, right? Because if they were wrong and there was very little participation in it, sure, they could have got it to, maybe 10 million. During those days, it would have been easier because you really play off of the circulating supply, right? But they could have got it high, but it would have been stagnant. It would have been one of those things that would have been almost like, okay, do we farm this now type of situation? But it worked out, right? So they rolled the dice, they invested in it, and then this thing went absolutely bonkers and went to $4 billion market cap in 2023, whenever the market had been stagnant for so long, and it was about time for something big to happen. So
yeah, for sure. And this was the biggest runner in 2023, right? It was something that made this is where a win he first
James
made
Wynn.
his money, right? He was just a normal broke trader, and he made like what, $23 million off Pepe or something like that. So
that's his claim.
crazy.
Yeah,
pretty nuts. All right, you ready for the Bitcoin?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get into today's Bitcoin and crypto price action and crypto bubbles. Really looking forward to kind of you being bullish here. I need you to say things like up only, and no, I'm just kidding, but I'm curious to see how it is.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but maybe I can turn you around in terms of the bullishness for Santa Rally. We'll see. But before we get into this price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, all that great stuff that you guys help us out with on X. Let's share the space. And then shout out to Abstract, Pump Stream, Zora, Rumble, Twitch, and Kick. And don't forget not Instagram. What is it? Spotify. That is what I was looking for there. All right, let's take a look here. All right, Bitcoin on the hour chart. We're going a bit sideways here, right? That's what it looks like, right? I mean, up yesterday just to kind of pull back down, but we did get to 94,000 and pull back down after the meeting way late in the day and pull back up, down. That's basically what we're doing, going sideways here. We are sitting at 90,000, just barely over 90,000. We are in a sell session right now, but it's decently strong, right? But that makes sense, pulling back from 94.5 to where we are right now, which is like right at that 90,000. The stochastics just got to oversold not long ago, so probably expect a little bit of sideways chop still, is kind of what I'm thinking, with maybe a slight downtrend, right? Nothing crazy. Maybe we hang out in the upper 80s to lower 90s, and I think it's going to really swing back and forth until the market decides, hey, look, I mean, conditions are better. The Fed was dovish, and it seems like we're going to have a good start to 2026. And the one thing, like you mentioned about the stock guys, sure, I think a lot of them, they think a little different than the participants in our space, right? But I think that's starting to get more aligned. But I will say, I think people in crypto like to risk a little bit more, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if they're going to try to front run 2026 a little bit. We'll see what happens there. But taking a look at the support and resistance from the hour chart here, and this is going to pull data going back to, let's pull it up a little bit more there, even more. Perfect, right here. So this gives us till about 7 a.m. to where we are now, Eastern time, right? So at that, right over that $90,000 mark, support definitely kicking in here, but it's ping ponging here. Above this, resistance is definitely dominating. The highest volume area though is in this section here, which support has. So this is good. We could kind of catch ourselves and just range in that 89 to 90,000 until we break through and flip momentum. That'd be really good, because above this, it's still resistance up until you get to 90,300, right? So we get kind of through here, then we can, have here. So like I said, I do expect kind of a ping pong style kind of activity for the rest of today, a little back and forth between 89 and 90, and having some outliers, maybe 88 and 91 on each side. So nothing exciting for Bitcoin. And I just realized this is the 4 hour. So just know that this is kind of what I broke down is going to be more for heading into the weekend. Okay. Let's go on the shorter time frame. I didn't realize I was on the 4 hour there, but so that assessment there was more for heading into the weekend. So if that's the case, probably we're going to figure something out here, which is on the hour. So hold what I just said on the 4 hour, because actually this can determine what happens for the that 4 hour chart. So this 1 hour actually looks like the setup is much better. It's much better on the shorter time frame, right? So you're looking at and then the course of possibly coming out of this, right? Because you see we had an extension of sell pressure going back to Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, so 8 p.m. Eastern, all the way into where we are now, and this looks like it's about to close up. So I do like where this is on the hour chart, right? So the hour chart definitely looks like it wants to flip. It wants to switch out of sell pressure and go into buy pressure. So now if we were to go back to what I was saying here, this could actually break this down now. So again, though, it would be heading into the weekend. So I wouldn't be too overly excited about Bitcoin just going absolutely nuts or anything like that. But breaking out of this would be, it's kind, I guess, like that's where that shorter term time frame that I just went over could play into this 4 hour, right? So interesting to see how the next, today, rest of Thursday and Friday goes heading into the weekend, because if we do get something aggressive coming out of this, that could definitely look much different here. Let's take a look at the daily chart for Bitcoin. And we have been hanging on to this buy pressure, so that's good, right? We don't want up here. If we get really bullish, we can hang up here for quite a long time, right? So we definitely want that 4 hour chart to come out of sell pressure, and then we get some bullishness for today, and then have a bullish kind of energy heading into the weekend. But again, it would be kind of like a chop style thing until Sunday. So that's Bitcoin for you guys. Let's take a look here at Ethereum. The past couple of days has shown that it's been a bit more aggressive than Bitcoin in terms of, to the upside. A little bit, not like a ton, but for example, yesterday before that meeting, I think we were at like 3,300, which is crazy. But yeah, on the hour, this is the 1 minute. Let's go to the hour. The hour chart is showing us very something similar, right? Coming out of sell pressure. So, we could see something kind of like a thrust up for Bitcoin and Ethereum here in the next couple hours. So that is something to look out for. And then the 4 hour, very similar situation to Bitcoin. We need to see it break down here and then see how we are heading into the weekend. The daily is just still hanging on to that buy pressure, right? So I like the setups that we're in right now, but it's not anything that's getting me super excited. But again, it's better than being like really bearish, and that's what I could have had, especially for that shorter time frame, which I'm glad it's not. But this does not look good. If you're looking at the alt market here, the top 100, you're seeing a lot of pullback, man, across the board, and that's with midnight pulling back even harder at 35% here. You got Cardano down 10%. ETH pulling back 5%, Pengu pulling about 11%. Some of the stuff that pulled up was Mix. I feel like Mix is, consistently in the top 100, but it doesn't get like hit in the headlines very much at all, right? So I get it. Aster, is the main perps dex on BSC, but this guy's still in the top 100, right? So like,
Yeah.
what's going on? There must be a lot of people believing in Mix as a perps dex. We'll see. But it's up 7.3%. You got Zcash bouncing back up as well, 2% to the upside. Tron up 1%. Meme Core up 3% here. Everything else is down, pulled back between 4 and 7, 8% there. In the top 200, you got Lombard, something that came out of the Bitcoin ecosystem, is up 20% there. You're seeing XCN up about 10%. B, the meme coin from BSC, up 11%. There you got Merle up 3.6% at 35%, or 35 cents, I should say. You got the Sun token up almost 2% there. And then everything else about, very similar, 4 to 8% on the pullback there. But that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the alts for you guys.
Yeah, sucks. I don't know what else to say to that. But not fun news there. So, damn, and just when you think
like
you're gonna get bullish.
Well, I feel like the space is kind of like right now, just overall a little disappointed in that meeting yesterday being like pretty bullish and just such a just slothy reaction from the markets. You know what I mean?
Well, there's one sign that you're in the bear market, right? So one sign you're in a bear market is good news, price down, bad news, price down, everything else sideways. That's a bear market, right? And with you're seeing Google searches for Bitcoin bear market skyrocketing right now. People are saying, hey, we might be in a bear market since October 6th and we haven't noticed. So which would put us back
but what
into
a weird
but it would be
such a weird bear market, wouldn't it be? If everything turns back around like beginning of next year, it would be such a short one.
I mean, bear markets usually last 365 days. So
yeah, but that would be like if you're going from October 6th
to October of 2026, potentially down only.
But then all the thesis of early 2026 would going up would go out the window.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I don't want that to happen, but that's if they're right and the 4-year cycle is still on. But this was a Bitcoin cycle, and you saw Bitcoin top out at 126 on October 6th. That puts it in that same timeline of 1,000 days, whatever that guy was saying, right? So every cycle lasts 1,000 days, and then it's a year bear market, and then 1,000 days. So if that's right, then potentially the bottom will be next October. So I mean, I don't think so. I honestly really don't. I'll be shocked. But only time will tell. All right. Revolt and Trust Wallet team up to offer instant Bitcoin and crypto purchases in the EU. It does feel like Revolt and Trust Wallet seem to be the two wallets that are really kind of pushing in the EU right now. It's pretty big there. Just want to bring that up. And then Coinbase will enable DEX trading for all Solana tokens. No listings needed. So I tested this out this morning. I went on my Coinbase app, not the wallet, but the actual app, and I bought a Solana token that was valued at $100,000. Just something random I seen. I was like, oh, 100K. I bought it, and it showed up in my Coinbase. Just like if I went and I bought Cardano. It's the same thing would have happened. They both show up at the same place. I'm able to withdraw it. I'm able to send it out, whatever I need to do. I'm able to sell it. And I kind of looked into it because I was curious. I said, hey, are they using, potential, what technology they're using? And Coinbase protocol specialist Andrew stated that Coinbase is expanding native support to Solana, uses its own DEX router that sends orders to Solana on-chain liquidity across multiple DEX venues. So they're basically created their own aggregator, and they're aggregating these transactions. So now there is no difference right now from using your Phantom wallet to buy Solana tokens and using Coinbase to buy Solana tokens.
So I almost wonder if like there's a big push for this because of like the USD1 push too. You know what I mean? Because the reason why is because there's a lot of Solana tokens that are paired with USD1 now. And, Coinbase offering like a lot of these, you can buy them now like directly from Coinbase, even if they're fresh. Because, I'm seeing a ton of like Trump related USD1 stuff starting to get like pushed out there, right? So, you know, the fact that like there's this obvious movement for USD1 to be dominant, right? And it's almost kind of like America, right? Like type of situation. And then I'm not saying that's the only reason why they would do it, but you know, having access to like Solana tokens in general, I think is smart move. But this is a difference. This changes the game for sure, because you know, is Coinbase gonna do any type of like campaigning at all for any sort of like, you know, tokens or anything on Solana, you know what I mean? Or is it gonna just be like, okay, look, you have access to all these now?
Yeah, I think this is a response to people saying, hey, anything you list dumps and stuff like that. I think this is a response to they no longer have to list anything. And this is a response to January when the Trump token launched, and it took 2 days for Coinbase to kind of get it on there. They missed out on a lot of volume, right? Ton of volume. I noticed as well that the fees were kind of high in the sense of being Solana. When I made that transaction, it cost me like $4 or $5 for a 100-hour transaction. On Solana, that would have been like 10 cents maybe. So I did notice there was some fees there. But this is a response to the Trump coin in January, and they weren't able to actually get it on their exchange for a couple days, and everyone who bought it on the exchange lost money because they added it at the top because that was one of the big things. Oh, God, let's sit on Coinbase, you know. So I think this is them basically saying, hey, if it's available on DEX, it's available on Coinbase. So now you can buy anything that is on the base DEX. You can buy anything that is on any Solana DEX. And they're probably going to be adding Ethereum and some other chains as well. I can't imagine them not, but I think they want to get away from the custodian aspect of these coins. I really do. I know we had a debate on this the other day, and you said, you know, that's a big part of their business, but I don't think they want to be in that. I think they want to be on chain in that sense, and I do think they're going to try to be on chain as much as possible. And it kind of takes away a lot of the aspects of getting caught up in something, right? Being a part of lawsuits and stuff like that, because hey, all we're doing is we're being a middleman for our clients. That's it.
Yeah. I think that's a slow response if it is because of the Trump thing, though. You know what I mean?
I think they started working on it then. It just took time.
You think it took
For a company like Coinbase? Very slow, very methodical. I mean, you know,
because I would think this. I would think if that was the real reason, I think that could be one of the reasons. But if that was the real reason, then they also missed out on, you know, Fartcoin. They missed out on Libra. They missed out on all those other ones that, like, you know, shot up very high. So I would imagine that they definitely have the resources to make that happen like quickly. Now the rollout and stuff like that.
So I think the Clarity Act as well. I think they're trying to like structure everything around the Clarity Act, right? I think that's a big part of it as well. I don't think this, you know, there's something in this Clarity Act that Brian Armstrong likes that makes him feel comfortable about putting this out now. I think
that could make sense. If
you know what I mean,
that's the reason why. But nevertheless, you know, having this ready for when retail comes back, because it is when retail comes back. People are always like, you know, doom and gloomers, but I get it. I get why people say that, but there is a when retail comes back, because they will. Having that ready, I think, is important too, right? So, you know, doing it for all the popular ecosystems, and Solana makes sense to be one of the first.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next thing here I thought was pretty good. Polygon's Madhugiri hard fork. They did a hard fork, lifted the throughput. So apparently Polygon went through a hard fork, and we didn't really notice. But it got up to about 1,400 TPS. The CEO Sandeep says Polygon is aiming for 5,000 TPS in 6 months, and up to 100,000 TPS within the next 12 to 24 months. Polygon, in my opinion, is one of the chains that I think is going to be leading the next wave of blockchain innovation. We've already seen that with, you know, they have Polymarket and potentially Courtyard being one up there. I think Courtyard kind of getting pushed down a little bit now because Magic Eden is just taking such a lift with that. It's actually taken away like 60% of Courtyard's fees in the last like 6 weeks or something like that. Obviously it's new, so it's going to take time to kind of balance itself out there. But you've seen, Magic Eden, their packs is, if you go to magiceden.com right now, their number or .io, whatever it is, you can see that it's all about their packs now. Everything's about their packs. So
but they're all digital packs, right? They're not like, they don't do
No.
like the physical goods.
Not yet, but the marketplace, you can buy the physical goods.
Yeah, but those are vendors that are doing that, right?
That's just the people who withdraw the asset from Courtyard and list
Yeah.
it on Magic Eden.
I think if
there's
Courtyard can still dominate just that side, then they'll be good. But I mean, we'll see.
Courtyard has a problem. Their problem is the KYC is super strong. When you sell an item, you can only get that items like that cash can only be sent as cash to your PayPal. You can't get it back as USDC. So you can buy it as USDC, but when you would have to send it to a PayPal. That sucks. So then I have to go.
Can you get PYUSD?
No, it goes into cash. There's something that they're doing, and then I have to buy PYUSD and send it out of there, convert to PYUSD back to USD, and then send it back in the Courtyard.
Yeah, there's something
It's such a
going
pain
on
in the
with
ass.
that.
Yeah, well, I think they're just right. They're just too close to the regulations, and it's terrible experience. Like I've used it. I had fun when I was playing with it, but the marketplace fees are super high. Right, everything is just like they give you 75% back for the item, but then you go check and it's way less than 75%. It's set. They're saying that's the value, but then you go to eBay and you can find it way cheaper, right? Or or it's way cheaper than what the eBay is offering, and it's like it doesn't sound like 75%. I don't know, but it's annoying. I want Magic Eden to win this battle, but anyway, going back to Polygon. I think Polygon is going to be one of the leaders here. I think Polygon comes back. Polygon was kind of pushed away, dude. Like honestly, and now it's kind of feels like it's making its way back here.
Yeah, because I don't think that they care about being in everybody's face type of approach, the guerrilla marketing necessarily, so much as they are like, hey, we got some serious builders in our ecosystem that have, I mean, Hyperliquid or Polymarket, which one do you think was bigger this cycle, or this year, or the past 2 years?
I gotta say Polymarket. It's just
okay. Okay, so
it's
that's
never
what I'm
been
trying to
anything
say.
like it before. Yeah.
So that kind of goes to my point is that like probably the largest app that came out of Web3 was with Polygon, right? And so if they can kind of continue to produce that type of talent, or have that type of talent want to build there, then that's going to be huge and go a long way for them.
Well, let me ask you this: Shane, just sitting on $1 billion, he alone, his value, right? What's stopping him from creating his own chain? Very similar to Hyperliquid, right? So where the transactions on chain are only the prediction markets transactions. What that would do, that would potentially speed up transactions. That will allow him to do other cool stuff. What's stopping him from creating his own blockchain where he can get fees and really have full control of what's going on that blockchain?
I mean, I don't think anything's stopping him. But
so why not?
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Maybe that could be like an approach, right? And plus, like I feel like Polymarket's in like the situation where like still dealing with like the clarity and all that stuff, which they've like where they are today is much better than where they were a year ago. And that's Kalshi and Polymarket, even though I know Kalshi has individually ran into more issues, hurdles than Polymarket, but they are still kind of like solidifying everything in terms of legitimacy and all that stuff. And maybe once that's done, get through all that stuff. But you're right. I mean, he has like pretty much unlimited resources to do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
And so if he does do that, then I'm sure he'll build like a good environment for that, right?
Well, let me give you some reasons why I think he should. Number one reason why I think he should create his own chain is because he can do an airdrop to everybody, and that token can be the gas token for the chain, right? In that sense, right? So you only really need the gas token in the sense of using the chain. On Polymarket, everything's done in the back end, right? Your fees actually do the transactions for you, so it doesn't feel like you're paying gas, but in reality you are. So that could be the new gas token. Instead of using Polygon itself, the token to do the transactions, you now have the Polymarket, right? And what you can do is you can be an L2 to Polygon and actually roll those transactions up. And land them on Polygon later. But another reason why I think you should do it is that gives
Isn't
the token
Polygon an L2? So it'd be like an
Polygon's
L3.
L1. Polygon's an L1. Transactions don't roll up on Ethereum from Polygon. So I'm pretty sure they weren't before. You got to remember that they don't use ETH. They use the poll.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
So,
that's true. I
so
forgot that they have their own token.
If they're using ZK rollups to land stuff on ETH now, that's something newer that I'm not aware of, but I don't think so. But so what they could do is they could technically be an L2 on top of Polygon, and what they could do also now, what this does is that makes that token, now it's a gas token, officially a decentralized token with governance of his new chain, right? And what that does is that also allows him to go public as Polymarket. So Polymarket the chain, Polymarket the IPO, very similar to Coinbase and the base token. Right. And now you can onboard new dApps that you want to. You have the full control. The same reason why Robinhood wants their own chain, so they can control everything. That's another reason why I think Shane Copeland is going to want his own chain one day, so he can kind of control everything. And he can, give people grants in, his chain token and stuff like that to build there. I feel like that is the best case scenario. It does kind of leave Polygon in the dust, and it kind of stops everyone kind of thinking like these chains are going to last forever, because everyone just kind of builds their own chain once they're successful. So I think you should do it. I think it'll be really good for the Polymarket users getting an airdrop of the new chain token.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that's not like what is on his mind right now, though. Like I said, I think he's trying to get solidified within like the regulatory entities and all that stuff. And also, there's a little quiet battle happening between like the sports books and in Vegas, and however deep you want to go down that, like the mafia groups and stuff, right? They hate the predictions markets because it's a huge threat to them. Right. So, but if he does do that, I'm sure that, that will be great for his ecosystem in the future or whatever. But yeah, Polygon is considered like they market it as a layer 2, but technically, if you look into it, it's a side chain is what they're saying.
Yeah. There's no roll up mechanism, I don't think, to land on Ethereum for L2. And, ETH would be the only way. The only L2s out there are the ones that ETH is the gas token for. Right. So as of right now. Bhutan launches TER, a gold-backed sovereign digital token on Solana, set to go live in about 6 days here on the 17th. What do you think about this? A gold token that is backed by a country. Could you see the U.S. doing this with the gold tokenizing the gold that's in? No,
because they don't want to lift gold up. They want to lift Bitcoin up. And so, I couldn't see them doing it. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but the countries that really want to lift gold up are China and Russia. I feel like, because they are trying to really have gold back their, BRICS type of system and stuff like that. And they don't like what the U.S. is doing with crypto. Well, some of the Russian representatives talked about that. Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, they're bucking the system, of course, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I can see them doing it. I can see them digitalizing gold, at least in the sense of being able to trade it and trade for it.
Well, I think they would the market would be there, but but not them. I don't think that they would have like a huge like part of creating like a coin necessarily.
Well, it's the same thing as digital the bonds, right? It's the same thing. The bonds are technically a coin, right?
Well, then,
but this gold will be technically a coin. But what that does, that'll allow, so the U.S. technically could make money for being a custodian of that gold, right? In a way, they could actually onboard more gold into their system by telling everyone, hey, like, we're tokenizing this on chain. right? I mean, we're going to be the custodians of this, so they can potentially make money from this. The United States could have another source of revenue coming from just digitalizing gold, the same way USD digitalizes the US dollar.
Possibly,
so, I don't know, just thinking. They are the largest or the second largest holder of gold, so do something with it. Say announced a partnership with Xiaomi, the world's third largest smartphone manufacturer. Pre-install the next generation of crypto wallet and discovery app in the Xiaomi smartphones sold outside mainland China and the US. So you can't get these phones in China or the US, but anywhere else in the world, especially the third world countries, you'll be able to buy this phone. The phone will immediately come with a wallet that you can onboard any type of crypto to this wallet. It'll be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bunch of other chains, Solana as well. And you will be able to potentially, your phone is your wallet, you make these transactions there. I don't know, I thought this was a pretty big deal for Say, potentially being the sponsors, the one actually paying for this. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and maybe like a lot of these chains will have their own kind of smartphone, right? And then, like I was talking about pre-show. Yeah, there it is. There it is. The Solana Seeker. I know Stan loves those. But that could be something that's like in the future, all these smartphones just come with the hardware wallets as well. Right. I'm sure that's going to be like a standard. Don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. I do. I think it'd be stupid not to, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just an app though, right? Like, so what's the difference?
Yeah. I'll probably still use my Ledger instead.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Klarna teamed up with Privy, now part of Stripe, to research and co-design a built-in crypto wallet for Klarna users. Goal is simple: secure wallet inside Klarna app so normal people can store, send, and spend crypto and Klarna without touching degen tools. So think about this. Klarna is a buy now, pay later company. Now you will be able to store your NFT inside Klarna. So now you can go buy a Bored Ape. You can borrow money from Klarna, go buy a Bored Ape, right? Pay a monthly fee for that Bored Ape or pay that back, or wait for the Bored Ape to go up in price, sell it, pay back the loan, and keep the difference. I'll pay later.
But what do you have to put up for collateral?
Credit.
Like
credit.
Like the current credit system,
like right now, if you wanted to buy a PlayStation, you can do it on Klarna. You'll basically pay $100 down, and then you'll have monthly fees of $20 for 2 years.
I know, but like, so I wonder if they're going to go the traditional way to do credit checks and stuff for that.
Yeah, 100% traditional way, 100%.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So so you, let's just say you have 800 credit score, you can now go to Klarna. Well, when this value 20 grand, go buy a couple NFTs, hold them in the Klarna wallet, right? That has access to the internet. And basically, let's just say that Bored Ape goes up 30%. You sell the Bored Ape, you pay back your loan, you're sitting on the difference, right? So now, buy now, pay later has entered crypto. Oh, you can do that with Bitcoin as well. Let's just say, Bitcoin is you want to take out a loan to buy a full Bitcoin, 100K. You're paying, let's just say you're paying, I don't know, $4,000 a month, paying that loan back, right? You get the Bitcoin goes to 200K, you sell it, you make 100K profit, you pay back your loan. All on your credit score.
So credit cards have traditionally been like stayed away from being able to use them for stocks, crypto for sure, gambling sites and all that stuff. But this changes that.
Klarna is not a credit card. Klarna is
I know it's not. I know it's not a credit card, but it's still like it's like whenever you take a loan out like that, people either do it because they're like really in a tight spot, like with lose their job, something like that, or they're going to do some home improvement or something to their home, but like with this, you're going straight into like a higher risk area, but like you're not going to get money back necessarily the other ways. If you add to your home, you can if you do it strategically and stuff, but value.
Really, you have to sell your home and then pay all those fees.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so what we did, we used Klarna for our vacations. We basically in June or whatever, we took a 6-7 day vacation. We used Klarna. It was like $4 or $5 grand or whatever it was. We pay it back monthly. We pay $400 a month, right? for that vacation. So there's no making money on that. That was a complete loss, right? Now we just got to pay it back, in the sense of money. But this now changes that. You're able to use Klarna to potentially make money. And I think you're going to get a lot of people to use this. Buy now, pay later on NFTs and crypto. I mean,
I think you'll get a lot of people to use it when the market's back, right? That's whenever they're going to be heavily
the time
used.
to do it, right? If you're planning to hold it for a year. I mean, that's the thing about Klarna. You can go out 2 years to pay back anything you want. I usually do a year, but you can go out 2 years. So let's just say you buy, that and you wait 2 years. I mean, it's the same payment. Nothing changes. Every month is the same payment, right? So you just hold the asset until it goes up. If you have a 2-year horizon on something, now is the time to do that. So, okay. So, and it's all through Privy as well. So Privy supplies the wallet infrastructure that already powers 100 million accounts on apps like OpenSea and Hyperliquid. So Klarna does not have to build a key manager. So Klarna doesn't have to do anything. They're using Privy the same way the Courtyard uses it, the same way that everyone else uses it, right? So they're not even have to build anything. It's just going to be available.
How do I get exposure to that company?
Privy?
Yeah,
Stripe. Stripe's not public.
Oh, so Stripe owns Privy, right?
They bought it, yeah.
Okay, so smart buy because Privy's everywhere. They're just putting their tentacles in everything in our space. Like they 100%. Are the onboarding freaking software. So
I think it was like $2 billion. It wasn't cheap for sure.
Yeah.
So DXY has launched its first spot market with Solana trading, opening access to US users and making significant expansion beyond derivatives. So this is something we talked about previously. DXY has to do something. They got to do something because they're losing the battle to Aster and Hyperliquid. I do like this now, though, because they're not doing it in liquidity pools. They're actually doing it how the stock market does with bid and ask. So if you want to sell your asset, you basically come in and you say, I want to sell it for this price. Somebody else comes in who wants to buy it for a certain price. And when those markers hit, the transactions happen, right? It's basically like limit orders, for instance. In TradFi, there's bid and ask all the way down the board. As long as you're not asking for too much, then you basically get sold pretty quickly. Same thing here. I do like this for sure. And then let's just say you want to sell it right away, market value, you don't care. You just take the best offer. You just sell it into the market, best offer. The best bid in there comes in and just buys your offer. Very similar to how MEXC and stuff work as well. I think this is big, but I don't think this is going to bring people to trade on dYdX. Do you think this is going to be something? Okay, so
I don't think so. The only way would be is if, like, it seems like what they're doing is maybe having these newer attractive assets there, right? But like, no one loves that way of doing it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a significant user base to make that even a thing. You know what I mean? Because like, if I have to sit and wait for like hours for a sell limit order, then I'm gonna be annoyed, right? So like MEXC is a centralized exchange that has a user base that's large enough to be able to do that. And a lot of these centralized exchanges kind of have this approach. Coinbase is obviously big enough and liquid enough to where you don't have to do that. But dYdX just starting a new program like that's hard to build up. Now, if they have a lot of investment towards it and stuff like that, that could change, especially with the new attractive assets and stuff. If you're able to do that, that's different. But I just don't know if this is like the move that they needed to make to bring more attention to them.
Yeah, and I mean, what's the difference from going to Jupiter or using dYdX? It doesn't make any sense unless there's an arbitrage opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I could see possibly somebody doing, but it's probably going to be so small. It's, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting pennies, but if you need to put huge money in to make $1 million or something, I can see that, but I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's kind of get into, I was going to bring this. Let's just get into the news from the trenches. Our final thing here for today. What's going on in the trenches, man? I saw a new token absolutely go ballistic this morning. Well, I guess so. It was called All In. It went from back down to 200K. That's not good. But this token it ran from
okay. Wow. How high did it get? I
got to 1.4. We saw the top. That's crazy. Yeah, it got almost to 2 million. It got to 1.95
Okay.
was the top.
Okay, so dude, this is the perfect scenario based off of what I was saying yesterday. I was
Yeah,
like, if you have a successful day for a token, that token goes to, $2 million. It's almost guaranteed to pull back. What 80% is kind of what I said, right? So if you think about that, it did pull back even more than 80%. But like my whole point is that like you're gonna see a pullback with that. Even if it's the runner of the day. And the reason why that ran so hard is because someone from the Trump organization, in fact, it was like the Trump organization official Twitter was saying like, going all in is not only a phrase, it means much more. And it goes into this thing. It's almost kind of like, everybody in crypto is like, oh my God, like, yes, risk it all. You know what I mean? It's like perfect for like our space to be like, have a rudder. And that thing went absolutely nuts. Like you and I both saw it like pre-show when I first saw it. So again, if you were listening to the trenches news from the trenches yesterday, where I kind of showed you how to use Axiom, you would have caught that at least by like 200K. And that's where I saw it, right? I saw it at like 200, 300K, and I was like, what is this? I did some research. It shot up to 400K, and then next thing you know, it's hovering between 600 and 400, and it gets to 800. And this thing just pushes super hard, right? So with that being said, now it's sitting at kind of where that pullback is. And people are going to determine in the next day or so if it's one that's going to have bounce back, right? If it's going to have some sort of longevity. And this is where you'll start, I would say, give it 24 hours to have a fair kind of review of it. And you'll start to see people either think that it's going to have some potential, and they'll start to kind of DCA in it here and there. Let's say it gets back to 500K after about 24 hours, 600K or something like that. But that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. And I'm so glad that token ran today, because it's exactly what I said could happen for a runner, basically, in where we are with the times we're in right now.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. This morning, I had you walk me through how to do everything, and it does give you that little bit of an edge. I feel like, for sure. What is? I feel like it's all like political shit right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, dude. So there's a lot of political stuff happening. Absolutely, man. And it's like
Sydney Sweeney's.
like, well, so Sydney Sweeney is like this the sweetheart of the space, like the industry.
Yeah.
Like three guys just love Sydney Sweeney. Anyways, so if you're looking at like a lot of the USD1 pairs and stuff like that, they're very political because of the USD1 stuff, and I feel like that's kind of pushed the actual space right over to in general. So you have the pump side doing it too, not just bonk, right? So now there's like all these political runners. You have stuff like Franklin, that was political, even though it's like based on a child's cartoon or whatever you want to call it, book. And it's just really carried over, dude. And right now, like you're seeing like the USD1 pairs really try to go for it. Like there's a MAGA token that ran today. Like how many times has a MAGA token probably been attempted? Probably multiple times, a good amount of times. Well, it ran pretty decent today. It got to like 300, 400K. And I was like, if USD1 is going to be something that's a big movement, there's got to be a MAGA token, right? That's going to have success. So that's kind of where the trenches are with Solana right now. By far, hands down, Solana has the most activity right now with memes. I mean, it's not close. Maybe BSC. I haven't been over there. I'm sure BSC is definitely having some success as well. But yeah, so that's kind of what's happening right now. But it's very similar to what I said yesterday. It's still continuing to where these are daily plays, right? So what is that one?
Well, yeah, I was just here. Now it's here. It just completely just dumped. This is USCB BDC. But yeah, basically everything you just said just kind of happened while you're saying it.
Right,
really
right.
Crazy.
So there's one that's running right now called Pathetic, and it has like the CEO of NVIDIA as the main picture, and that one account, Autism Capital. You know them, right?
Yeah.
They posted it. They posted the meme or whatever. So this one seems like it's running hard or whatever. But you got to look at a couple things. Like is there a bundled percentage? You actually want a little bit of a higher bundled percentage. but also like it's hot potato, right? So like, when are they gonna like finally like toss the potato out the window? That's the game right now, right? So
one thing I like doing, I'm kind of collecting wallets right now. I only done a couple so far, but just adding people in is, what's this guy's name? His name is, what do you see their name at? Dex.
Where
Dex.
is it? Yeah,
Right.
no, if you go, yeah, I guess they go by Dex. Yeah. On the chart, you should see it if you hover over it.
Really? I don't see anything. It's really weird.
Okay. Yeah, see,
Melito. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, straight away though, move for Melito or a Dex guy. I don't know. It's really weird. This person does. Maybe it's just at first. I don't know. It's really weird. I'll have to get used to it more. But yeah, man.
So pretty much news from the trenches today has been all-in token that went pretty ballistic, but it's all the way back down to 200K. Someone launched a trillions token on Solana, went to about 300K. And the activity is definitely picking up, but it's like it's picking up and it's more active, but it's still that daily grind situation, right? So, but I told you there were signs yesterday of tokens reviving, and you pair that with kind of the increase in volume activity, even though it's a daily grind. Something's brewing, you know what I mean? Like something's like, I feel like there's definitely energy brewing here. What happens with it, I don't know. Like, yeah, I can't tell you. This is, you know, for the people that have been playing over here for a while, you guys know this is probably one of the hardest things to do right now, honestly. But if you can get it, if you can be profitable in this daily thing, that means you just have that skill set, right? You've developed that skill set to know when to, you know, toss the hot potato and you're done. No more, you exit the circle, you're done with the hot potato. And some people which had problems earlier this year of picking the right coin to hold and stuff, they're having success in this hot potato game. There's not a bunch of them though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take a quick look at what was happening over in some other trenches areas. Let's take a look at Spark. Nothing again. Soon dropping back under 700K. It's been a complete shit show over here. Honestly, this one went up to about 60K, almost pushed over. It didn't. So same thing. It's a real shit show. And speaking of shit shows, Monad has been a complete and utter shit show the last 24 hours. Just terrible. So Emonad is up a little bit.
Nomad audience loving that, huh?
I mean, you can't deny it. I'm just being honest, right?
It's true.
Yeah, sugarcoating it, but at the same time, it's like.
But Emonad's going to save them.
I mean, he looks like he could save the world, honestly.
Does he? No, not at all.
He's a very handsome man. I'm glad he has purple hair, but remember that song I sung you this morning? I feel like that was the guy. But that's our show for you guys today. Terrible turnout. People just don't care about crypto right now, dude. It's sad to say, but I mean, today's one of those days, though, honestly, when I was working my 9 to 5, where I would find a book to read. I read, Games of Thrones. I read, the Steve Jobs biography, the Elon Musk biography. Like, these are the days in 2022 where I was just like, I wouldn't even look at my podcast that day. I would just 3 days go back, and then I'd feel good. Like 3 days later, I'd feel good. Like I feel behind on a lot of news stuff, so I would start watching again. But honestly, today's like one of those days where I would find a podcast or find a book or find a something else to listen to that day. So.
Yeah.
Don't blame you, guys.
No, but like, look, I mean, we still had 120 people show up today, which was, I feel like people are just exhausted, right? Like, you get to a point where you're just like, yeah, like get faked out so many times by Bitcoin. And how many times can you say you need a day off or whatever? But we appreciate each and every one of you guys showing up and hanging out. And, don't think we don't see you guys, myself, super fan comment about Xiaomi and what they're doing and all that stuff. And shout out to also, he came in, snuck in, Rita TV too. Appreciate all you guys for showing up, man. Without you guys, I promise we would not be here, because you guys are kind of that energy that keeps us going, right? So thank you guys so much for showing up, supporting, viewing, all that stuff. Without y'all, we couldn't do this. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to bridge your Bitcoin ordinals or NFTs, you got to use Emblem Vault. They've been doing it since 2021, taking them over to Ethereum, right? And right now you can actually take your Taproot Wizard and get a loan out against it on the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending application on Ethereum. But they also have an awesome AI agent called Agent Hustle, which is on Solana, Hedera Hashgraph, a Binance Smart Chain, and more EVM chains to come. And you can ask Hustle, find me some solid gems, low cap gems in any ecosystem that he operates in, and he'll bring back some options for you and why he thinks that there's good options. You can also do conditional buy and sell limit orders through Hustle. He'll take care of that for you as you are doing your thing, right? He'll do the work while you're gone. And then, so, there's different levels of subscription. The first one is kind of like the free one that you can test out. And, you're limited to a small amount of prompts, but you get enough to definitely get a feel of it into. And then you upgrade to the paid subscriptions, which is still a really good price. And you get a 30% discount if you use the Hustle token, by the way. And it's the single token that operates I guess empowers the entire Emblem ecosystem there. But yeah, so check it out. You get way more prompts, you get way more tooling, and it's it's there to give you that edge, right? And then their last product that they have right now is Migrate That Fund. They're still in that Pump Fund cohort, which they're doing great in. So congratulations to all the teams. We might have a couple of these teams jump on the show. So if you guys are interested in, looking into some utility plays on Solana, because a lot of them are utility plays that came from the Believe app, you can check them out at Migrate.fund, learn about them as they are migrating their token there. And if you have a project and you launch on one of these launch pads and you want to migrate to another launch pad or manage your own LPs, go to Migrate.fund. These guys are experts. They are the leader in the industry that they pretty much created, so definitely go to Migrate.fund, ask them any questions you have, and then head over to Emblem.vision to learn about all the products I just broke down for you guys. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. You have the Wizard version 2.0 that can guide you through the Merlin Chain ecosystem, but it also can swap for tokens outside the ecosystem. And if you have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your Merlin Chain wallet, you can swap for Solana tokens or BSC tokens. But going back to Merlin Chain's ecosystem, it can guide you through the ecosystem by doing DeFi functionalities on your behalf, swapping with Merlin Swap, and then also staking on your behalf as well. Right now, they have 3 ways for you guys to participate in their proof of stake security model. The first way is to stake Bitcoin and earn more Bitcoin, right? You can stake Bitcoin in their main vault there, and they are 3-month vault in length, right? They go 3 months. But the first vault ended September 30th, and they got 17% APR for their stakers there. The current staking vault goes until January 8th, and then they will open up another one as well after that with more details. But they're going to shoot for that 17%. Right? A minimum of 8%, maximum of 21%. That is the goal. And then there's 2 ways to stake Merlin Chain token as well. You have the flexible, which is the day-to-day, and then you earn 15% APR that way, and you can claim your rewards daily. To withdraw, it does have a 7-day cooldown period, so just know that. And the last option is the bonded, which is a 6-month lockup period, but you earn 45% APR. And the cool thing about this one is that you can claim your rewards every single day as well. So that's a really cool option as well. It is locked up for 6 months, so just know that. And we thank you so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. And we actually have a new partner that we just added. You guys can tell by the thing. We added Satsman. Satsman is a dApp from the Omnity team. This is actually going to be going live next week, the launch pad. So how you guys can get started with this is pretty easy. Just come over here. We did a full tutorial video on this. You guys actually can get in there and figure out how it kind of goes from this to Rich Swap. Rich Swap will be the graduation zone. So you guys can just come here, etch a token, get it ready. Because you could come to the bottom here. You can kind of see people are getting it ready. I actually put out Beer Frog. I'm going to be launching this next week just as a fun little experiment. This is not an investment. This is just me kind of testing everything out. But Beer Frog will be the one that I like. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other ones I'll probably be getting into as well. Big Brain seems to be launching as well. But to say you put this in here and it doesn't go through, someone else snags it, you will get a refund. That's the best part about using Satsman. And if you want a ticker that is not ready, you guys can actually start bidding on 7-digit tickers right now. They're not even available yet. But if you want it useless, you can bid on it right now. There's 2 bids right now, too. So you come in here and just bid more sats for BVite. And if you lose, you do get your refund. So you're not losing anything by bidding, honestly. If you get it, awesome. If you don't, you get your refund. It is what it is. But you can get some 7-digit tickers now. So 30 days before the ticker is available, KC's rules of when these tickers are available. So you can go look into that. But 30 days prior to that, you're able to kind of get started with that. So definitely go check out Satsman today and next week, the Launchpad. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Brand new article right here, why ICP is a natural fit for Bitcoin L1 DeFi, Satsman, and everything about it. You guys can actually get code up to everything here with Satsman and Rich Swap and Omnity. And this is only 2 dApps. I think by the end of next year, Omnity is going to have like 15 amazing dApps that all kind of work together. I think it's going to be a really amazing ecosystem, and you guys can get started today by just reading this article and kind of learning about it. They're about 3 to 4 minute reads. You can go back. We got a Monad one, a QT one, and so many more. Check them out all out here. And on top of that, if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. I use it each and every single day. Right now, you can get 77% off by using our code. If you go to Nord right now, you got to pay $11 a month. Don't do that. Use our link. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it. Forget it. Be done with it. And you guys can be in Italy like I am right now. Well, no, I'm in the US, but my VPN says I'm in Italy. It allows me to use stuff like Hyperliquid, allows me to use stuff like MEXC. Anything that geo-blocks you in the US here, it is stopped by this. DXDY, I had to use it this morning to check that site out because I was geo-blocked. So you definitely get yourself a VPN. And if you guys need a hardware wallet, we use Ledger here. It is our number one. Because it's the most trusted, right? It's the one that has been around the longest. I love the Nano X. I use mine daily. Definitely use it here. It's $74. So you're getting it a lot cheaper than I got it for like 2 years ago. It was $130. So right now it's sitting at $74. You can't beat this deal. Use our link. Make sure you guys use our link. It definitely helps the show when buying this stuff, and you actually get the discount as well. So check out everything here at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain revolution, roll call, market recap. You not bullish enough, no. Not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.